The Science of Daily Self-Discipline by Oliver McAndrew is a transformative guide that teaches you how to master the art of self-discipline, build habits that stick, and achieve your goals with relentless focus. It delves into the psychological and practical aspects of self-discipline, helping you to overcome procrastination, develop mental toughness, and ultimately live a more productive and fulfilling life. Ready for the best self-discipline? Let's dive in. The Science of Daily Self-Discipline. Summary. In a world full of distractions and temptations, self-discipline is a rare but essential skill. Whether you want to lose weight, start a business, or simply wake up earlier, self-discipline is the key to turning your aspirations into reality. But self-discipline is not just about willpower. It's about understanding how habits work, how to build resilience, and how to stay motivated even when the going gets tough. In The Science of Daily Self-Discipline, Oliver McAndrew draws on cutting-edge research and practical strategies to offer a comprehensive guide to building the self-discipline you need to succeed. This book doesn't just tell you what to do, it shows you how to do it in a way that is sustainable and effective. In this summary, we will explore the core concepts and strategies presented in the book, from understanding the psychology of self-discipline to practical techniques for building habits that last. By the end of this journey, you will have the tools you need to master self-discipline and achieve your goals, no matter how big or small. Chapter 1. Understanding Self-Discipline, the Foundation of Success. Self-discipline is often misunderstood. Many people think it's about sheer willpower, about forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. But as Oliver McAndrew points out, self-discipline is much more nuanced and complex than that. It's about creating a mindset and environment that make it easier for you to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. At its core, self-discipline is the ability to control your impulses, emotions, and behaviors in order to achieve long-term goals. It's about delaying gratification and making choices that are in line with your values and aspirations, even when those choices are difficult. One of the first things McAndrew emphasizes is that self-discipline is not something you either have or don't have. It's a skill that can be developed over time with practice and the right strategies. And just like any other skill, the more you work on it, the stronger it becomes. The book starts by breaking down the psychology of self-discipline. McAndrew explains that self-discipline is deeply connected to your beliefs, values, and mindset. If you believe that you have the ability to control your actions and shape your future, you are more likely to exhibit self-discipline. On the other hand, if you have a fixed mindset and believe that your abilities are set in stone, you may struggle to develop self-discipline. McAndrew also introduces the concept of ego depletion, which refers to the idea that self-discipline can be drained, like a battery. When you use your self-discipline on one task, you have less of it available for other tasks. This is why it's important to prioritize your most important tasks and to manage your energy levels throughout the day. The chapter concludes with the idea that self-discipline is not about perfection, it's about progress. You don't have to be perfect to be disciplined, you just need to be consistent in your efforts and learn from your setbacks. Analysis. This chapter sets the stage for the rest of the book by redefining self-discipline in a way that makes it more accessible and achievable. By framing self-discipline as a skill that can be developed rather than an innate trait, McAndrew empowers readers to take control of their lives and start building the habits that will lead to success. The concept of ego depletion is particularly important because it highlights the need to manage your energy and focus throughout the day. By understanding that self-discipline is a limited resource, you can be more strategic about how you use it and avoid burnout. Chapter 2. The Power of Habits. Building a framework for self-discipline. If self-discipline is the key to success, then habits are the building blocks. In this chapter, McAndrew delves into the science of habit formation and explains how you can use habits to automate your self-discipline and make it easier to achieve your goals. Habits are behaviors that have become automatic through repetition. When you first start a new behavior, it requires a lot of conscious effort and self-discipline. But over time, as you repeat the behavior, it becomes a habit and you no longer need to exert as much effort to do it. McAndrew explains that habits are formed through a process known as the habit loop, which consists of three components: the cue, the routine, and the reward. The cue is the trigger that initiates the habit. The routine is the behavior itself, and the reward is the positive reinforcement that makes you want to repeat the behavior. One of the key insights from this chapter is that you can use the habit loop to your advantage by intentionally designing your habits. For example, if you want to develop the habit of exercising in the morning, you can create a cue by laying out your workout clothes the night before. The routine would be the exercise itself, and the reward could be a healthy breakfast or a sense of accomplishment. McAndrew also discusses the importance of starting small when building new habits. Many people make the mistake of trying to change too much at once, which can lead to overwhelm and failure. Instead, he recommends focusing on one small habit at a time and gradually building on your success. Another important concept introduced in this chapter is the idea of keystone habits. These are habits that have a positive ripple effect on other areas of your life. For example, regular exercise is a keystone habit because it not only improves your physical health, but it also boosts your mood, increases your energy levels, and improves your focus. By identifying and focusing on keystone habits, you can create a powerful framework for self-discipline that makes it easier to achieve your goals. Analysis. This chapter is crucial because it provides a practical roadmap for building self-discipline through habits. By breaking down the habit loop and explaining how to design effective habits, McAndrew gives readers the tools they need to create lasting change in their lives. The emphasis on starting small is particularly valuable because it helps readers avoid the common pitfall of trying to change too much at once. By focusing on one small habit at a time, readers can build momentum and gradually increase their self-discipline. The concept of keystone habits is also a game changer because it shows how small changes in one area of your life can lead to big improvements in other areas. This reinforces the idea that self-discipline is not just about willpower, but about creating a system that supports your goals. Chapter 3, Overcoming Procrastination, the Enemy of Self-Discipline. Procrastination is one of the biggest obstacles to self-discipline. It's the habit of putting off tasks that need to be done, often in favor of more immediate pleasures or distractions. In this chapter, McAndrew explores the psychology of procrastination and offers strategies for overcoming it. One of the first things McAndrew points out is that procrastination is not just about laziness or lack of willpower. It's often a symptom of deeper issues such as fear of failure, perfectionism, or lack of clarity about your goals. By understanding the root causes of your procrastination, you can develop strategies to address them. McAndrew introduces the concept of time inconsistency, which is the tendency to prioritize short-term rewards over long-term goals. This is why procrastination often feels so compelling in the moment, even though you know it's not in your best interest. To overcome procrastination, McAndrew recommends several strategies. One of the most effective is the 2-minute rule, which involves starting a task by committing to just 2 minutes of work. Once you've started, you often find that it's easier to keep going, and you can build momentum from there. Another strategy is temptation bundling, which involves pairing a task you're likely to procrastinate on with something you enjoy. For example, you might allow yourself to listen to your favorite podcast while doing household chores. This makes the task more enjoyable and helps you stay motivated. McAndrew also emphasizes the importance of breaking tasks down into smaller, more manageable steps. When a task feels overwhelming, it's easy to procrastinate, but by breaking it down into smaller chunks, you can make it feel more achievable and less daunting. Finally, McAndrew discusses the importance of setting clear goals and deadlines. When you have a clear sense of what you want to achieve and when you need to achieve it, it's easier to stay focused and motivated. Analysis. This chapter is essential for anyone who struggles with procrastination, which is one of the most common barriers to self-discipline. By reframing procrastination as a psychological issue rather than a character flaw, McAndrew makes it easier for readers to approach the problem with compassion and understanding. The strategies for overcoming procrastination are practical and actionable, making it easier for readers to implement them in their daily lives. The 2-minute rule in particular is a simple yet powerful technique that can help readers overcome the inertia that often leads to procrastination. Overall, this chapter reinforces the idea that self-discipline is not just about willpower, but about understanding your own psychology and developing strategies to work with it. Chapter 4. Building Mental Toughness, the Backbone of Self-Discipline. Self-discipline is not just about habits and strategies. It's also about mental toughness. Mental toughness is the ability to stay focused, resilient, and determined in the face of challenges and setbacks. In this chapter, McAndrew explores the qualities that make up mental toughness and how you can develop them. One of the key components of mental toughness is resilience, which is the ability to bounce back from adversity. McAndrew explains that resilience is not about avoiding challenges, but about facing them head-on and learning from them. By embracing challenges and seeing them as opportunities for growth, you can build the mental toughness needed to stay disciplined in the face of setbacks. Another important aspect of mental toughness is emotional regulation. This involves managing your emotions in a way that allows you to stay focused and productive, even when things aren't going your way. McAndrew emphasizes the importance of mindfulness and self-awareness in developing emotional regulation. By being mindful of your emotions and how they affect your behavior, you can develop greater control over your actions and reactions. McAndrew also discusses the role of self-compassion in building mental toughness. Many people believe that being tough means being hard on yourself, but McAndrew argues that self-compassion is actually a key component of resilience. When you treat yourself with kindness and understanding, you are better able to recover from setbacks and stay motivated in the long run. Finally, McAndrew introduces the concept of grit, which is the combination of passion and perseverance. Grit is what allows you to keep going, even when the going gets tough. McAndrew explains that grit is not something you are born with, but something you can develop over time by setting long-term goals and staying committed to them. Analysis. This chapter is a powerful reminder that self-discipline is not just about what you do, but also about how you think and feel. By focusing on mental toughness, McAndrew provides readers with the tools they need to stay disciplined in the face of adversity. The emphasis on resilience and emotional regulation is particularly valuable because it helps readers understand that setbacks are a natural part of the process. By learning to manage their emotions and stay focused on their goals, readers can develop the mental toughness needed to stay disciplined over the long term. The concept of grit is also a game changer because it shows that self-discipline is not just about short-term willpower, but about long-term commitment. By cultivating grit, readers can stay motivated and focused on their goals, even when the going gets tough. Chapter 5. Mastering Time Management, the Key to Daily Productivity. Time management is a critical component of self-discipline. If you want to be disciplined in your daily life, you need to be able to manage your time effectively. In this chapter, McAndrew offers practical strategies for mastering time management and staying productive throughout the day. One of the first things McAndrew emphasizes is the importance of prioritization. Not all tasks are created equal, and if you want to be productive, you need to focus on the tasks that matter most. McAndrew introduces the concept of the Eisenhower matrix, a tool that helps you categorize tasks based on their urgency and importance. By focusing on tasks that are both urgent and important, you can ensure that you are making the best use of your time. Another important time management strategy is time blocking, which involves setting aside specific blocks of time for different tasks. This helps you stay focused and avoid multitasking, which can lead to decreased productivity. McAndrew recommends using a calendar or planner to schedule your time blocks and to stick to your schedule as much as possible. McAndrew also discusses the importance of eliminating distractions. In today's digital age, distractions are everywhere, from social media notifications to email alerts. McAndrew recommends creating a distraction-free environment by turning off notifications, setting boundaries with others, and using tools like website blockers to stay focused on your work. In addition to time blocking and eliminating distractions, McAndrew also emphasizes the importance of taking breaks. It may seem counterintuitive, but taking regular breaks can actually boost your productivity. McAndrew introduces the concept of the Pomodoro technique, which involves working for 25 minutes and then taking a 5-minute break. This helps you stay focused and avoid burnout. Finally, McAndrew discusses the importance of reflection and review. At the end of each day, he recommends taking a few minutes to review your progress and plan for the next day. This helps you stay on track and make adjustments as needed. Analysis. This chapter is packed with practical strategies for managing your time and staying productive. By focusing on prioritization, time blocking, and eliminating distractions, McAndrew provides readers with a roadmap for making the most of their time. The emphasis on taking breaks is particularly valuable because it challenges the common misconception that productivity is about working nonstop. By incorporating regular breaks into your routine, you can stay energized and focused throughout the day. The concept of reflection and review is also a powerful tool for staying disciplined. By taking the time to review your progress and plan for the next day, you can stay on track and make sure that you are consistently moving toward your goals. Chapter 6. Staying Motivated. The Fuel for Self-Discipline. Motivation is the fuel that drives self-discipline. Without motivation, it's difficult to stay committed to your goals, especially when the going gets tough. In this chapter, McAndrew explores the science of motivation and offers strategies for staying motivated over the long term. One of the first things McAndrew emphasizes is the importance of intrinsic motivation, which is the motivation that comes from within. Intrinsic motivation is driven by your values, passions, and interests. When you are intrinsically motivated, you are more likely to stay committed to your goals, even when external rewards are not present. McAndrew also discusses the role of extrinsic motivation, which is the motivation that comes from external rewards, such as money, praise, or recognition. While extrinsic motivation can be effective in the short term, McAndrew cautions against relying on it too heavily. Over time, extrinsic rewards can lose their appeal, and you may find it difficult to stay motivated without them. One of the most effective strategies for staying motivated is to connect your goals to your values. When your goals are aligned with your values, you are more likely to stay committed to them, even when the going gets tough. McAndrew recommends taking the time to reflect on your values and to set goals that are in line with them. Another important strategy for staying motivated is to celebrate your progress. McAndrew emphasizes the importance of acknowledging your achievements, no matter how small they may be. By celebrating your progress, you reinforce your motivation and build momentum toward your goals. McAndrew also discusses the importance of finding a support system. Having a group of people who share your goals and can offer encouragement and accountability can make a big difference in your motivation. McAndrew recommends joining a community or finding a mentor who can help you stay motivated and on track. Finally, McAndrew introduces the concept of mental contrasting, which involves visualizing both the positive outcomes of achieving your goals and the obstacles you may face along the way. By mentally preparing for challenges, you can stay motivated and resilient in the face of setbacks. Analysis. This chapter provides readers with a deeper understanding of motivation and how to sustain it over the long term. By emphasizing the importance of intrinsic motivation and aligning your goals with your values, McAndrew helps readers tap into a deeper source of motivation that is more sustainable than external rewards. The strategies for staying motivated, such as celebrating progress and finding a support system, are practical and actionable. They provide readers with concrete steps they can take to maintain their motivation and stay committed to their goals. The concept of mental contrasting is particularly valuable because it acknowledges that setbacks are a natural part of the process. By mentally preparing for challenges, readers can build the resilience needed to stay motivated and disciplined, even when the going gets tough. Chapter 7. The Role of Willpower. Strengthening your self-control. Willpower is often thought of as the cornerstone of self-discipline. It's the ability to resist temptation, delay gratification, and stay focused on your goals. In this chapter, McAndrew explores the science of willpower and offers strategies for strengthening your self-control. One of the first things McAndrew explains is that willpower is like a muscle. Just like any other muscle in your body, it can be strengthened through exercise, but it can also become fatigued if overused. This is why it's important to use your willpower strategically and to build it up gradually over time. McAndrew introduces the concept of decision fatigue, which is the idea that making decisions depletes your willpower over time. This is why it's often harder to resist temptation at the end of the day when you've already made a lot of decisions. To combat decision fatigue, McAndrew recommends simplifying your life and reducing the number of decisions you have to make each day. This might involve creating routines, automating certain tasks, or eliminating unnecessary choices. Another important strategy for strengthening your willpower is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness involves being present in the moment and aware of your thoughts and feelings. By practicing mindfulness, you can develop greater self-awareness and self-control, which can help you resist temptation and stay focused on your goals. McAndrew also discusses the importance of setting clear boundaries and limits. When you set boundaries, you create a structure that makes it easier to exercise self-control. For example, if you're trying to eat healthier, you might set a rule that you won't keep junk food in the house. By setting clear limits, you reduce the need to rely on willpower and make it easier to stay disciplined. Finally, McAndrew emphasizes the importance of self-compassion in strengthening your willpower. When you treat yourself with kindness and understanding, you are better able to recover from setbacks and stay motivated. McAndrew explains that self-compassion is not about letting yourself off the hook, but about acknowledging your challenges and giving yourself the support you need to keep going. Analysis. This chapter provides a comprehensive overview of willpower and how to strengthen it. By framing willpower as a muscle that can be built up over time, McAndrew empowers readers to take control of their self-discipline and develop the self-control needed to achieve their goals. The concept of decision fatigue is particularly valuable because it helps readers understand why willpower can be depleted over time. By simplifying their lives and reducing the number of decisions they have to make each day, readers can conserve their willpower and use it more effectively. The emphasis on mindfulness and self-compassion is also important because it highlights the role of self-awareness and self-care in developing self-discipline. By being mindful of their thoughts and feelings and treating themselves with kindness, readers can build the resilience needed to stay disciplined over the long term. Final summary. The Science of Daily Self-Discipline by Oliver McAndrew is a comprehensive guide to building the self-discipline needed to achieve your goals and live a more productive and fulfilling life. Through a combination of psychological insights and practical strategies, McAndrew provides readers with the tools they need to develop self-discipline, overcome procrastination, build mental toughness, and stay motivated. One of the key takeaways from the book is that self-discipline is not just about willpower, but about creating a system that supports your goals. By understanding the psychology of self-discipline and developing habits, routines, and strategies that align with your values, you can make self-discipline a natural and sustainable part of your life. Throughout the book, McAndrew emphasizes the importance of self-awareness, self-compassion, and resilience in building self-discipline. By being mindful of your thoughts and feelings, treating yourself with kindness, and embracing challenges as opportunities for growth, you can develop the mental toughness needed to stay disciplined in the face of setbacks. Whether you're trying to build better habits, manage your time more effectively, or stay motivated toward your goals, the Science of Daily Self-Discipline provides a roadmap for success. By applying the principles and strategies outlined in the book, you can develop the self-discipline needed to achieve your goals and live the life you've always wanted.